YouTube. I am the League of Shadows, here to fulfill Ra's al Ghul's destiny. And when it is finished, when it is all done, and you've seen the era of your failure, and Gotham is ashes, then you have my permission to die. What's going on, YouTube family? Just messing around. Um, Pretty big news. It's kind of late. I should have been on my game a little bit sooner, but as you can see, working. Uh, the big news that came out last week or the week before last is a certain special director of the same one that directed The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises, and Batman Begins. Christopher Nolan, y'all. He is potentially up and running based on the recent speculations by Latino reviews, and now it's actually just spreading like a cancer everywhere all over the internet. The internet is booming with the speculation that potentially Christopher Nolan may actually help produce and oversee the DC Universe movie relations, meaning that if this is true, then what they might actually do, they might actually have Christopher Nolan actually producing or helping to actually co-screenplay and direct potentially the new Justice League. So this brings up a couple different facts that I'm worried about, but at the same time I'm really happy about. When we think about the Dark Knight series, which the franchise in and of itself was awesome. Anybody can speculate what was a better movie, but in and of themselves, the whole entire franchise works together. The first one was the reimagining of the character. The second one is the epicness of the world that he got to live in, and the third one is the resolution and the symbolicism behind who and what he is. So Christopher Nolan, he did that to the utmost, which is really great. Now, he is partnering with right now, which are projects actually coming out this year, 2013, which I believe is in July. I can't remember. I think it might be May. But him and Zack Snyder, the director of Watchmen, 300, various other movies like Sucker Punch, any movie you think of that has like a graphical kind of sense, uh, CG related characters, like this man, he's a genius at that. So they picked the perfect kind of director to helm it, but then they put the producer in Christopher Nolan, which is really cool. But what they already said early on that this would not be connected necessarily to the Batman storyline, because the Batman storyline is put in the place where it's just a regular environment with, which even though like some of the stuff that happened was kind of surreal, that it could potentially happen. Now Superman on the other hand, like in and of himself, like it's an alien brought to a real live world, which they've never really explored like that in a reality sense, which is really interesting take that's going to happen with the merger with that. So I mean that's enough talking about Man of Steel. That's going to be really great. I cannot wait for that. But if they actually bring Superman and Batman and merge those two worlds, what will happen to the continuity of everything? What will happen as far as how the characters are going to develop? Think about the movie Green Lantern. Now, I'm not going to bash Green Lantern because honestly, if they would have went with the the Sinestro storyline and actually went into that a little bit further, I think it would have been a little bit better. But are they going to add his character in? Are they going to be able to merge all the different worlds together? Now, I don't think they're necessarily going to put Ryan Reynolds' character directly in like that with the same screenplay and everything. I think they're going to make it like more gritty, more hard sell. Whoever the director is going to be. None of this has actually been confirmed. This is speculation. But I think that at this point, based on the way that Marvel is actually looking, I don't know if any of y'all have looked at this weekend The Oz, which I might do a review on that. I might have thought about that, but they showed a really great trailer for Iron Man, which the trailer is already up. Iron Man 3. Thor is supposed to be releasing very soon, actually this year as well. Like Marvel, they are on a like roller coaster ride that's just making them so much money. And the Avengers in and of itself, I didn't even really do a review on that. It was just so amazing. Um, but at this point, Marvel's just taking over the market. And DC under their belt, like as of recent, with the exception of the Dark Knight series, they have to step their game up, and they are doing really well as far as the animated films. They're doing a really good bulk with those. Those are really good. They turn the storylines like crazy. But when it comes to the real life movies, they have to step their game up. And I think in putting and entrusting this in Christopher Nolan, giving him time, even if it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, in and of itself, you know that the man is going to do the story justice. And if they take and bring him in with Zack Snyder, and they fuse those two worlds correctly, I think it has room to really grow and do really well. And I mean, that's the best move in my opinion that they can make at this point. Now, I think that the things that I'm worried about, which when I think about like the Batman of uh, the Christopher Nolan franchise, his character, it was like the evolution of his character. They didn't necessarily go into, okay, where did he get all his martial arts training before he went to get trained by Ra's al Ghul? Where did he get the knowledge base to actually use all of these different tools and devices that he had? It was just like almost like he came with instinct. Which, I mean, you can have a brilliant mind and be going to Princeton and get kicked out or whatever, but they never went into the bulk of his intelligence level. They usually just went onto the brawn and him able to come back from things, which is good for that. But when you think about like the Justice League Unlimited, or you think about any of the storylines with Batman of the animated series or the comic books, he uses his brain, his intellect to find weaknesses in the people that he comes in contact with, even if it's his allies or if it's enemies. He's already 3 steps ahead. They never went into the detective side of Bruce Wayne in the Dark Knight franchise. So if they went this route and bringing Christopher Nolan on board, and like I said, the speculation is if Christopher Nolan gets on board, Christian Bale said he's not opposed to doing another Batman movie, which that doesn't have anything to do with this. So that means that it's potentially that he could actually go and do this role, but he'd have to change his character up and going more into the detective realm, going more into, okay, how is this character going to fit in a world of heroes that can kill him like that? I mean, he already had a hard time when it came to Bane, but granted, he was off for 8 such years, whatever. He was emotionally compromised, but this is a whole nother world. And so he's going to have to be able to be quick on his feet. He's going to have to be more of a detective. I'm interested to see what they do with this. I think it's the best idea they can, but they're going to have to reimagine the way that Batman interacts in a world that's not simplified in the normal world. Because he was the thing that was the difference. He was the deal breaker as far as what's the norm. Like, why would a sane man do something like this? And then the characters built off of him, which is the Joker, Bane, anybody else, they were counteracted of a byproduct of what he did. Now, if that's the case, then Batman's gonna have to step to the table when he comes in contact with people like Wonder Woman or Lex Luthor or different people that have exemplable, exempt. Well, I don't even know if I would say exemptional because some of them just have powers that they don't even know the depths of how well they can actually use them. Like think about Flash and the fact of how much he can do. Like I, it's just a lot that they have to really think about of how to bring this into a normal world and how to recreate the characters so they fit in a way that they work. But then when I thought about that before, when I think about like the Avengers, think about like Hawkeye, Black Widow, so it's doable. But they're gonna have to get back to the characters' roots and the main elements that made them what they are. And Batman, martial arts expert, intelligence like higher peak than most people, of course, riches. But then when you think about his detective skills and what he can really do, like what he's really capable of, they never went to that exploration, and so they're gonna have to go in detail with that in the new one. And they're gonna have to make him feel a lot more younger, because by the end of this last one, I was like, man, this Joker old. But then, of course, I don't want to spoil what happened if any of y'all haven't seen the end of the last one, but even when you think about like other characters that are anonymous, which Joy's, well, I don't want to spoil it because I don't know who's seen it, who haven't, but regardless, other characters were introduced by the end of the movie and what they could really play as the impact of Gotham, and then also in the Batman mythology. Are these people going to be connected in this movie? Which I don't think they should or are, but I think this is going to be seriously an awesome decision by Warner Brothers mixed with DC to bring Christopher Nolan under this. Um, I think there's so many different ways that they could go about with this, but I don't know if they're gonna go through with having him up there. I don't know if this is all true or not, but I think honestly, what choice do they really have at this point? Who will be able to bring the Justice League to light in a way that not only will captivate people, but also like show the depths of how well this team can work together? And I think with Zack Snyder and Christopher Nolan, they're the perfect team to do that. So, with all that, I have to go. I hope you all have a great day. And that was my Bane impersonation, just so y'all don't think I'm like crazy or anything like that. I'm gonna be probably making another review on a couple movies. I said Oz. I looked at Dead Man Down. I saw that. That was really good. Um, yeah, I'm gonna make some reviews coming out very soon. But I definitely wanted to talk about this because this is huge, and I should have talked about it last week, but I was busy and I had a lot of work to do. But I hope and pray y'all all have a great week, and look for more reviews from me by Friday. All right, y'all take care. Peace.